Today, we are diving into really one of the most misunderstood topics in hair and scalp health, and that is the hair growth cycle. Believe it or not, your hair isn't just growing all at once, it's on its own personal timeline through phases that determine whether it's growing, it's resting, or it's falling out. And if something goes wrong in the body, your hair will be the first to let you know. You're going to hear this a lot from me, but think of your hair as your hair follicle as a construction site. Each follicle is building its own skyscraper with its own work crew. Unless something like stress, hormones, nutrient deficiencies jumps in and starts flooding the area, the work crew can go on strike. So you hear what I'm saying, because if something interferes, then suddenly half of your hairs are out of sync and you're wondering why your ponytail feels thinner. There's more hair in your brush. Your hair is clogging the drain. So let's break this down into an easy to understand way. And if you like the way I explain things, then please subscribe and share this. So we are going to go through the first phase, which is the anagen phase. This is the growth phase. This phase lasts for 2 to 7 years. So the percentage of your hair in this is 85 to 90% of your hairs are in the anagen growth phase. The hair is actively growing and getting nutrients from the blood supply at the hair follicle. Okay, this is in build mode for your hair. It's adding length, it's adding strength, it's adding shine, whatever you are feeding it, whatever you are putting in your body matters. Hair is made of protein and amino acids. We have to be eating nutrient-rich foods to have healthier hair and scalp. Now, some people have longer anagen phases, which is why they can grow hair down to their waist or their feet, and others naturally have shorter phases and they only can grow hair to their shoulders. And this is based on your genetics. But this can also slow down as we get older too, because of other factors, and I'll go over them in a second. But anagen phase is like that group of construction workers building that skyscraper, and we want everything to run smoothly so that hair stays in that growth phase for the full length of time. And there are some things that will actually stop that, and we need to be aware of that. Okay. Then we have the catagen phase, which is the transition phase. This only lasts about 2 weeks. Only 1 to 3% of hairs are in this phase. And this is when the hair stops growing because the hair is preparing to shed. This is a short phase, and the follicle actually shrinks and detaches from the blood supply. So no more nutrients. There's no more growth. The hairs are still there. They're still active. They are just put in, they are just getting ready to change shifts, basically. Then we have the telogen phase, which is the resting phase. Sorry about that. Telogen or telogen, however you want to describe it, or however you want to pronounce it, telogen or telogen. This is the resting phase, and so this is the vacation mode. So this lasts about 2 to 3 months, and about 9% of your hairs are in this phase. And the hairs are just hanging out in the follicle. They're not growing, they're not shedding, they're just chilling. They're just hanging out. And it's like your hair follicle took a break. And so it's waiting for that next growth cycle to begin. And then we have the actual exogen phase. This is the shedding phase. Now, a lot of times the exogen and the telogen phase will be used interchangeably. Like the telogen is the shedding phase. And so some people will say that. And that's okay. But it's literally the exogen phase where the hair is officially detached and sheds, and it makes room for new growth. And this is why we naturally shed 50 to 100 hairs per day, which is normal hair shedding. But if your body is dealing with major stressors, it can push more hairs into the telogen phase. And this leads to telogen effluvium or abnormal hair shedding. This is when you see all more hairs in your brush, more hairs in the drain. Okay. Then we have the kenogen. Kenogen is lasts about 1 to 5 months. This is where, for some people who have had telogen effluvium, they say, I had so much hair shedding and now I finally got back to normal. Like now I have normal hair shedding, but I haven't seen any new hairs coming in. If this is the case, then we have something else, another trigger in the body that is putting the hairs on pause. And that means the body is focusing on more of a priority in the body. Remember, the hair is not vital for us to live. So the body is giving energy to the body and not the hair. So after a hair sheds, there's a delay before a new hair starts growing in its place, 1 to 5 months. Okay. This means that hair is empty. Those follicles are empty for a period of time. And if kenogen lasts too long, like if your hair, isn't growing back and you're still shedding hairs, then that hair density really starts to decline. And that's when you see more of your scalp. Okay. So here's when things really get real, right? Your hair doesn't grow in isolation. It's constantly reacting to what's happening inside the body. And if something throws off the cycle, your hair does what it has to do to protect your body. So it's holding on to that energy because it doesn't have enough energy to grow hair. So here are some of the biggest disruptors of that kenogen phase, okay? Is severe stress or trauma. This could be emotionally or physical. Hormonal changes, pregnancy, birth control, menopause, all of those things. Nutrient deficiencies have to be severe iron, protein, vitamin D deficiencies. Viral infections, illness, surgeries, these can also be big disruptors. Medications, especially the ones that can alter metabolism, and hormones for sure. So what happens is sometimes severe stress or health events can delay that return to anagen, meaning the hair stays on pause. Even in androgenetic alopecia, every time we have a shedding of hair, the hairs that are coming in will be more miniaturized. So we really want to keep those hairs in the growing phase for as long as we can. Other times, the body just senses danger and suddenly sheds a massive amount of hair at once. And again, this is called telogen effluvium or TE. If someone is experiencing sudden abnormal hair shedding, it is a huge red flag that something's happening inside the body. And it's not just hair, it's a signal that it's giving us. So there's lots of things that we can do to keep that in the hair growth cycle, and that nutrition is one, and minimizing stress is another. We want to be practicing stress relief every single day. And actually, deep breathing is probably the easiest, best way to do it. So remember, your hair isn't just doing random things. It's a reaction to what's going on. It responds to your internal health, your stress, your nutrition. So if something disrupts that cycle, you have the power to intervene and correct it. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you have a great hair day.